Nsem-Pii TV nie.
Ma me no call Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh. Running mate, man, Dr. Bawumia 2024 general election no. What do you come be? And then I pay. Na me gidi say what in catch a ye pa enye asem ketwa. Na mesro so beka me ho na me no abohwi na ne nkomo a enne anopai watimu atwetwe no wososo watimu anyamu chefa enye asem ketwa. Enkomo hodo bebre eno ruai watimu adi ebi fa ensem ahodo a ekoso ewo NDC amayeko abanya obetena so yi anakunyo obetena so yi ensem ahodo bi a ekoso ebi fa MPP osono kokoko amayeko no ensem ahodo bi a ekoso ene coming 31st January election na wo mo kwakoto na wo mo ayi fragbela ehon sensem na ensem a anamanfo bi nsem mo kan say Dr. Bawumia ena wo say Ghana economy na say dollar ekosoro ewo MPP amayeko penso no sabre no Dr. Bawumia ene ye faso bo mo no ene so ho sem watimu ede anuye ababeto abusuya mame no ko na ensehwem ensem dede ensem pola Dr. Mathew Opoku Prempeh watimu ahwegu ho no wo so kwajo chefane ba Nsem-Pii TV yenetifo ebeto aso
to sit with me for a conversation.
Finally. And I think those who know me will be wondering what brought me to join FM.
Indeed. And now that I have you, I need to ask you a question I've always wanted to ask you since the elections last year. As I said, you like challenges. You've been very active. I always wondered whether you even slept, because 3 sh0cks must have been a nightmare to start with. You had a whole finance minister at the time publicly saying, the way you're going, I have different views. So you could just imagine what was happening in cabinet. And then you have energy ministry. I mean, to live such an active life for 8 years, and then now for the last 10 months, there's almost appears to be nothing happening. At least you've been front and center in our lives. You control education, so we see you all the time. You control our lights. So when the lights went off, Napo, back in the day. How has it been in the last 10 months for you without all the challenges that you took on? You almost seem to live on that.
As I would say, when there's work to do, you just have to keep your head steady and just do it. I don't believe you do work for the glamorous part of it. You do work to make an impact. So when I'm given a piece of job to do, I just have to deliver. There's no alternative. So whatever that I have to do in my capacity, with my knowledge, with my experience to deliver and make an impact, not just deliver, is what I set up to do at every point in time. In the last 10 months, I've been enjoying life.
You have been?
Oh, God.
Do you even have it in you to enjoy life and take it easy?
I've been enjoying life, my brother. I've been reflecting so much. I've been going around the country on a listening tour.
Okay.
I've been reconnecting to my roots. I've been establishing my foot firmly on the ground. I've been mostly listening, reflecting, doing soul search. What's the purpose going forward? So it's been the best time in the last probably 16 years.
I find it hard to believe because you see, the thing about people who are like you, they are driven by the challenges. Like when there's quiet, they find it difficult to adapt because your DNA has just been built to take on challenges. I find it hard to believe that in the last 10 months you find it easy to just get back into this life of just chilling.
Well, as part of my training as a doctor, right? Mm-hmm. You have time to do everything, but not in an emergency. Mm-hmm. When you have patients on the ward, you have time to think through their problems, to consult seniors, other people for second opinion. You can go and read journals, you can read books to tailor make your treatment or therapy for a patient, really. It is only in emergency, the only exception is emergency. The person is dying. You literally have no time to think, what should I do or shouldn't do? You should just get on with it. You You are trained in an emergency to become instinctive. You train yourself so that when somebody falls, you know what to do. So when somebody fell in Parliament, it was instinctive for me what to do. That was the training I've been brought up. So in moments of emergency, when there's tension and everything, that is the time that you can get to soberly bring everything that you have learned over the period of experience and just get on it and save a life. So my party has gone through probably one of the most horrible periods of its since its formation. I don't believe so, but people say that we've suffered our worst defeat. I don't believe so, but let's take it back. Just to do is to take a step back. When you're a top goal scorer and you break an arm or a leg, it doesn't mean you cast aside.
You say you don't believe that is going on.
You go back, you take a step back and reflect and heal yourself. Get back to your nature. By your psychology well adapted to win in ways and get back to the field.
I mean, it's just something fascinating right now that people say that this is the worst defeat, but you don't believe that.
No, I don't.
Factually, it is.
It's not.
I mean, it's just a matter of records. It's not more than 1 million votes. Nobody had lost that like that before. You have a micro minority in Parliament that you last year was part of until now. You have a super majority that we've never seen in the Fourth Republic. All those are factual matters that you can dispute.
You see, you may claim it to be a fact, so you put it around the sunlight. And let's shine the evidence. Let's look at the evidence. In 1992, you had only 30% of the popular vote. At 6, you had only 38% of the popular vote.
92, you wrote the stolen verdict.
98, 96, we had only 38%. So 2024, if we've had 41%, it is not bad. Actually, the best university in Ghana that I attended, the pass mark is 40. So you might say in quantum terms, in parliamentary terms, even as you tried to say, in 1992 we had 0 parliamentarians.
Yeah, because you took a deliberate decision.
We had 0 parliamentarians.
True, but the decisions and the context was different.
We had 0 parliamentarians.
That's factual. But the reason
you didn't talk about reason when you started.
But it's important. Context is everything.
Right to say, in 1992 we had 0 parliamentarians.
Yeah, because you took a deliberate decision.
We had 0 parliamentarians.
True, but the decisions and the context was different.
We had 0 parliamentarians.
That's factual. But the reason
you didn't talk about reason when you started.
But it's important. Context is everything. The context was
I want
different.
to agree with you today, but you said the fact, and I'm saying when we shine light on your supposed facts, probably it is not.
Yeah, but the context
as
is
you
important.
reeled them, you said that you've lost by 1.7 million, you've done that, you've done that. I said, if I take it one by one, it's probably not our worst.
On the parliamentary debate, I know you're the first one to draw it up. In that election, you wrote a stolen verdict. This one, you contested fully. You put all your weight, you were all in.
My brother,
and you still turned out with
in 1992
minority.
It's not the only stolen verdict, a document you've written post-election you've lost. It's not. It was the first time, but it's not the only document. In 2012, we went even to court. It was more than a stolen verdict. We gathered evidence and went to court. So I'm just saying that everything you've said this morning to me, when you put the sunlight on it, it's probably not our worst time.
So what was your worst?
It's 1992. Are you telling me if we had not boycotted, we wouldn't have had some seats there?
But you boycotted.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. That so because of the decision, when you make a conscious effort and make a decision, you get bound by the results of your decision.
That is why.
So when we decided
it's
we
not
go
comparable to 2024.
When we decided you didn't go, then the result was that you have 0 representation in Parliament. We can't say that we would have won, but the election that we participated, we got 30%. The fact that we wrote a stolen verdict didn't dispute the fact that Rawlings was sworn in as the president in 7 January. The fact that we went to court in 2012, President Muhammad was sworn in, so in January. Even though my presidential candidate came out of the court and said, we disagree with the court decision, but as Democrats, we abide by it. So that's what I'm saying, when you take your time. In 1996, we had less than 1/3 members of parliament. We had less than 1/3, we have 61. NDC, to all intents and purposes, had a supermajority. So if in 2024 we have less than 1/3, this is the first time? Probably not. So I'm just saying that what is true globally when we look at the headlines.
On the supermajority,
like you live with the headlines. So.
On the supermajority bit, which is 2/3 under the Fourth Republican Constitution, it's really not happened before. Outright 2/3 majority.
Would you want me to go through the evidence?
Yes.
In 1992, there was a supermajority of NDC.
Yeah, but you see, the 1992 is always an outlier.
It's not an outlier.
In fact, in our analysis, you treat that as an outlier.
I wouldn't treat it as an outlier.
Because you have the opposition party staging a boycott.
We still participated in the developmental process for economic engagement. We did everything.
But it was an outlier.
We didn't go to parliament.
That's true. That's what makes it an outlier.
And NDC went ahead with that supermajority to amend the Constitution of the Republic of Ghana.
But that's different from
That's what I'm saying, that if a supermajority means the ability to amend even the Constitution with its entrenched clauses, it has happened before. It has happened before.
Context.
I'm going to give you a context.
Context.
In 1992, the NDC itself was in government, not on its own steam, but was in government in an alliance with an opposition party. Or that is also not very evidential. The vice president in 1996 or in 1992 was called Nsem-Pii, true or false?
Yes, he was.
He was not a member of NDC, was he? So just remind your people, he was not a member of the NDC. He belonged to a different political party from the NDC. Flight Lieutenant General John Rawlings himself was not a member. He was co-opted as the presidential candidate of NDC. So what is it? So what I'm trying to say is that in 1996, Nsem-Pii, the sitting vice president, because of who NDC had gone to even amend the Constitution and change the role of the vice president, was the running mate of President J. Kufuor at that time. He was not a member of the MPP. The MPP was such a micro minority at that time that even when they were going for the election, they decided to go with a candidate who was not even their party. It tells you how a micro minority. So when people now say micro minority, it's not the first time it's happened.
So the debate around whether it's the first time or not, I mean, it's a matter of record. But I'm interested.
Matter of record.
Yes.
You couldn't even take your own party's candidate because you felt that you needed a big tent to bring other people in. And so in 1996 general election, we had a great alliance, and we had taken who? Not somebody from NPP. The NDC in your so-called supermajority of 1992 and the boycott of the NPP did not feel themselves satisfied that they alone could. So they had partnered with another political.
Let's come to 2024.
So let us agree now that the historical record does not bear the statements you made.
No, I mean, I don't want to go into a historical debate because as I've said, the 1992 is always an outlier. 2024 was unique in its own way with all the dynamics.
I cut out 1992.
Yes.
I stay with 1996.
Yes.
I've just showed you post-1996 elections. NPP. We didn't write the stolen verdict, right?
Yes.
We got 38%. Is it 38 or 39%?
Yeah.
Of the popular vote.
Yeah.
And we got less than 1/3 the members of parliament.
Yeah.
Had the independents and the other political party that got seats in parliament decided to join the sitting government, they would still have had a supermajority. So even now, we have independents joining NDC, even though they are already a supermajority. So I was just saying that because of context, now everything is amplified more than we want to hear. So it might look as if it's not happened before. But it has happened before.
The 2024 elections, though, you were the running mate. You've had 10 months to reflect, and we started by, you telling me about the relaxing period you've had to reflect. I wonder, when you reflect now on what happened during that election, what is for you in the last 10 months as you've done the reflection, what stands out for you as we could have done this better or done this differently? What would you say has been the most abiding feeling that comes to me when you reflect on 2024?
One thing that's come conclusive in the last 10 months is that there's a broken trust.
Citizens to party?
Citizens to government.
To government.
The trust that was broken hurt so much so that we saw the results.
So broken.
We didn't listen enough. We assumed a lot of things we shouldn't have assumed. Probably our purpose was a bit challenged for us. We have descended, we have gone through the worst global economic climate, medically and economically or health-wise. Governments around the whole world have been toppled and changed, apart from probably dictatorial governments or autocratic governments. The economic milieu had changed dramatically. A container from China that cost 1,200 logistic-wise had risen to 14,000. People's lifetime savings had been wiped out. People had died in their droves that never been seen before, without a military crisis or world war. So a lot of things had happened. And I say that if you take the context in Ghana, we did so well under COVID that it became a commendation of even advanced countries, how we tackled that. But like I say, you can win a battle and lose the war. So post-COVID, we saw the results very, very early in the 2020 elections, where we came from a majority of over 1 million people to less than half. And because of the decisions that we had to take or we took, we brought the consequences of those decisions. Revenue evaporated, especially in a country where your revenue mainly comes from your port duties, levies and charges. Expenditure went through the roof because unlike other countries, even in Africa, in America, developing world, teachers, nurses were paid for. Nurses went to work, but even teachers who stayed at home for 5-6 months were paid. Civil service officers which closed were still paid. The expenditure ballooned, revenue vanished, evaporated. The economic conditions were harsh, were terribly harsh. Terribly harsh. A developing country like ours, remember that in 2017 when we came to government, we were undergoing a physical straitjacket of an IMF program. Just when we escaped and we were growing at 8%, 9%, with so much hope, it was shattered with this health pandemic. So all in all, maybe we didn't listen enough to what the Ghanaian really wanted. Maybe our leadership that was spectacular and stellar at the COVID times was not good enough for Ghanaians at post-COVID. But it's happened. It's not the first time it's happened in this world. Wartime generals, field marshals, victorious Winston Churchill of the Second World War, just dramatically after that in an election. The people you lead in time of war are not the same people you need in time of peace. If you're a government and you don't listen, and you don't read the times, the job that we do is based upon perception. You can lose. You can lose not because of dramatic faults that you've done, but just because people are unhappy.
So what got in the way of listening?
Events, I would say. Let me say events. Because I'll give you a classic example. What will take 88 of our MPs, the first time in the history of this country, to openly, publicly do a coup d'etat against his own government?
Against the finance minister.
And the history of it, because the economy was bad. I laugh at it today, and I said, for those who are blaming Dr. Bawumia for the economic mess, and especially people like yourselves who sit in front of, behind megaphones, who have a voice, say, oh, he promised this, he was giving us lectures, so the fundamentals are bad. But the 88, recall, if it's not true, tell me. They were saying Ofuriatta must go because he was the leader of the economy. True or false?
True.
They didn't say Bawumia must go, did they?
Yeah. It was a campaign against one man.
It was a campaign against one man.
And by the way, it reflected the general mood of the population at
That
the
is
time.
what I'm trying to get to you. We didn't even listen at that time. We didn't listen enough. Cited our own, under the colors of MPP sitting in parliament, had to break ranks. Was it not a coup d'etat? It was a coup d'etat against the government.
The president should have listened and let Ofuriatta go.
Maybe. Because the consequences was that after that, we never found our rhythm.
Would you say that was a turning point?
I can't say that by hand on my heart. I wouldn't say that. But that was the culmination of a broken system, of a broken trust.
You said
when the shepherd turns ahead, and the sheep are gone, what does he do? He finds out where the lost sheep are. If you don't find where the lost sheep are, you come back home, and your father will not talk about the sheep you brought back. He will talk about the sheep you lost. If the 88 had a case, and they felt they were not listened to, Ghanaians will punish us because of that.
You were punished because of that?
And more. I've just told about the wartime hero, the pandemic hero, Nana Akufo-Addo, became the peacetime rebuilding scapegoat.
You were close to the president. He trusted you with a lot. Why do you think he didn't listen in the specific case of what you call the coup d'etat?
You see, it is
always so difficult for him.
It's always easy when you have Mission 2020 hindsight. You can then look back and say, oh, the president and my staff should have done A. But there's no evidence that even if he had listened to removing his finance minister, the horses had already bolted.
But that would have mitigated. Often mitigation.
That is a speculation. That is a speculation. No evidence to back. You're worrying me with evidence. No evidence to back what they are saying.
But one thing we know for sure, for certain, is that he did not listen, and the outcome is what we're living with now. The NPP.
He did not listen.
I mean, he did not let his finance minister go.
You see,
the outcome.